Some players in Football Manager just seem to play that little bit better than everybody else in the match engine. Is it because they've got some really good hidden attributes under the hood that we can't see, or do they just have some attributes that seem to work really well in this year's game? Probably a combination of both, but those players are quite hard to find, so today I'm going to help you with that. I'll be bringing you a bunch of players that I think are meta, aka fit what works in this game's engine, but on top of that, we're not just looking at anyone. I'll be looking at bargain players, those that you can pick up for a great price, all under 10 million, some are around 10, some are 1 million, some are 500k, so hopefully there'll be something for everybody's saves. So without further ado, let's get into player number one. And up first, I'm going for a player that's at second tier French side Bordeaux, 27-year-old Ellis, who is a Honduran international and a very good talent for the second tier of France. Of course, in real life, Bordeaux have been put into the third tier and have released most of their players, but in FM, this man can be picked up for 2 million from the French club. He can operate on either wing or up top. He's a right-footed forward whose real standout attributes, despite a lack of technical ability really on paper, is his physical attributes, where he has some electric pace. He's got great off-the-ball work in the mentals as well, really good aggression, decent work rate. The finishing's okay, as is the heading, the penalties and the technique. Yes, there is some lacking in this player, but for 2 million, if you're looking at, say, a championship team in England or a low-level team in Serie A or the Bundesliga or even the French tier, this is someone that could definitely do a job. He was great in my own Bordeaux rebuild that I did on my channel, and I think he's a fantastic pickup. 2 million quid or so for a guy with pace like this. For me, he was the top scorer in the second tier of France. For you guys, I imagine you could get even better results. His player traits really do suit the kind of player he is too, which definitely helps him in the in-game engine. So that's our first player covered, and there's still another 11 to go, I think it is, in this video. But before we cover them, I'm going to ask you guys if you could do us a favour, smash the like button if you haven't, or if you do go on to enjoy this video, and subscribe as well as we push for 200k. I'd massively appreciate that. But the thing I want you to do the most is go into the comments and let me know your favourite bargain player that you've used so far in FM. Tell me a story about them, how they've done for you, because what I'm going to do is use all of your comments and hopefully make a video about it down the line about some of your favourite players. So that's that covered. Let's get into player number two. And that player is going to be Omar Maroush, an Egyptian international, 24 years of age, playing for Frankfurt and valued at about 7 million. He's recently joined them from Wolfsburg, so you won't be able to sign him instantly. You'll have to wait until after the first transfer window passes before he'd be willing to potentially leave. It might even be longer than that, so get a scout on him, see how he develops, because if you can get your hands on him, you will have a brilliant player, because he's not yet in his prime. He's got some room to grow, but physically he's got some great attributes already. A very quick direct player with 16 dribbling, good finishing ability, passing, technique, flair as well. There is a lot going for him. He is one for the more elite sides, I would say. If you're looking at, say, an inside forward on that left-hand side, he would do a brilliant job at it and would be a great pickup for any team that can get him. But if you don't have the money for him, maybe you have £2 million to spare for Rio Ave's 25-year-old Ghanaian Aiz Yakubu. He signed from the club a couple years ago, so should be available to you guys as an option to buy. He's got great finishing ability and does lack a little bit technically, and maybe isn't the best mentally, but it's his physicals where he really shines. This year, physical attributes seem to trump everything in FM. It's been that way for a couple of years now, but he is strong, he's quick, he's good in the air, a good finisher as mentioned with good heading ability. He'll be exactly what you need to get, say, a championship team into the Prem. Do ignore the star ratings for all these players because they're comparing them to players at Chelsea, and realistically, this isn't the kind of player that will play for, say, a top 6 Premier League team. I know Chelsea, maybe not quite top 6 anymore, but you know what I'm trying to say. But Aiz Yakubu, a fantastic striker. We know people called Yakubu can score in the Prem. Maybe Aiz is going to be the next one. Moving on to defenders though, we have a centre-back here, a Dutch 24-year-old playing for Bologna. This is Sam Brokgu, who has recently joined from AZ Alkmaar. Another one you'll have to wait until at least January to try and sign, but he is almost a perfect day modern fullback. Let's start with the main strength, which is his physicals, where he is quick, he's good in the air, and he's also pretty strong, but mentally as well, super well-rounded. Does lack in the off the ball and the flair, but you can forgive that for a centre-back. He's got great aggression, positioning, leadership, teamwork, work rate, so you assume that his technicals are going to be bad, but actually no, he's got 14 for passing, 14 tackling, 14 marking, 15 for heading as well. Yes, the vision and technique might be a little bit low, as is his first touch, but you can forgive that. This is a player that would do a great job as a wide centre-back, as it shows here, or even a ball-playing defender. So yes, as a centre-back, he has some flaws, I suppose, but realistically, you won't find too many ball-playing defenders better than this for this kind of price. Bologna have a gem on their hands, and if you can sign him, you'll have a great player for your team. If you don't have the money for him though, but you have a little bit more time, why not check out Valentin Fendi of Argentinian side Union Santa Fe. He is a player that operates at centre-back, and most people won't have even heard of him. I know I hadn't heard of him until a few weeks ago, but you can pick him up for about £1 million, and he's got really good attributes to start with in some areas, because his other ones are really low. There's some things he's really poor at, and that is okay. He is 20, he has time to grow, but defensively, 15 positioning, 16 tackling, 12 marking, 16 technique, 16 passing, 13 vision. This is like a deep line playmaker playing at centre-back really, and maybe he is someone that you could retrain, but he's got great first touch. Physically, he's got some good attributes, but does need some work in others. But if you can get that heading up, if you can get the aggression, the concentration, and some of those physicals, you'll have a top-tier centre-back, and he will grow quite a bit. So this is a player that I definitely suggest you check out. For only £1 million, he's worth the punt. On the other end of the price spectrum though, we have a £7 or £8 million man, 27-year-old Brazilian Toma, who's playing his football for Krasnodar in Russia. He's recently signed from Portuguese team Brokgu, and he does look to be a top talent in FM. He's a right-footed defender who can also operate at right back, but I think centre-back is the best place for him. Very strong mentally, really good technically as well, 15 marking, 14 passing, but it's his physicals where he shines. Once more, a player that has great physical attributes, pretty quick, good in the air, and strong too. Someone that's going to dominate any attacker that comes up to him. If they're quicker than him, he's going to be stronger. If they're stronger than him, he's going to be quicker. He can beat them all in the air. A very good physical option in the prime of his career. Toma is a great choice. But enough about centre-backs. We'll get onto more of those in a little bit. Let's take a look at a fullback. This is Norwegian 26-year-old Bryce Wembanguomo, and I'll be honest, before I started this video, I did try and practice that name a few times, and I still don't know if I've quite got it, but this is a £2 million right back playing for Bodo Glimt in Norway, heading into his prime with electric pace, great work rate, and whilst he does lack a little bit technically, for £2 million, this is like a high-level championship right back, I'd say. He could definitely carry you up into the Premier League at that kind of level. He's someone that on this right-hand side is going to be very useful. I know he can play left back, he is natural there, but he hasn't got a left foot at all, and he also avoids using that left foot, so he's going to be using his right that whole time down the left-hand side. So unless you're inverting him, I think you're better off having him on that right-back slot. He's not the best going forward with the ball at his feet when it comes to passing, vision, technique, and crossing. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Outside of that, though, he is a very strong option for £2 million, and any wingers coming at him will have a very hard job getting the ball past him because he does have that electric pace. A great choice for £2 million. We're over halfway through this list now, so let's keep the players coming. Up next, we have a 26-year-old playing for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. He is one of the highly priced players in this list, £10 million or so, but he is an elite talent. This is the German Atakan Kazo, who has been at Stuttgart for a few years, having joined from lower division side Kiel, and he's developed into a really good player. It's his mentals where this guy really stands out with pretty much everything you could possibly want in a defensive midfielder in his game. He's aggressive, he's brave, he's composed, he's got great determination, positioning, teamwork, and everything else I haven't mentioned is still at like a 15 level, which shows you just how good he is. He's good with the ball at his feet too, can pass well, good tackling ability, good physicals. You couldn't ask for too much more from a player. I assume because Stuttgart have done so well in the most recent season, he was a player that was boosted in the winter update, but either way, what a start, what a signing, £10 million or so for the most elite clubs, and you would have a great player here. But going from the most expensive to the least expensive, we have a player that will prove to be a very good talent if you're able to get your hands on him for a lower division side. This is Joel Koujo. Now he's a 24-year-old forward who's been playing for Dinamo Samarkand, who are a team out in Uzbekistan. If you do happen to have him loaded in your save, depending on how big your database is, for around 200k, you're looking at a striker with 15 finishing and electric pace. That kind of thing is going to get you goals in the lower divisions. Again, ignore his star ratings. He's being compared to players at Chelsea here like Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and realistically, he's nowhere near their kind of level, whatever you think of those two guys. But yeah, finishing, pace, everything you need for a low-level striker, likes to round the goalkeeper, knocks the ball past the opponent. These traits do suit a player with good pace and dribbling ability. Maybe can't pass very well, but he's got decent technique and first touch. Like I say, only for the low divisions really. If you can get your hands on him for 200,000, you will have a low-level goal-scoring beast. Fiorentina's Luca Ranieri is my next pick, a player that just has really well-rounded attributes, no real flaw in his game, everything is a good level, physically, mentally and technically, which makes him play really well in the engine because those physicals, like I say, are so well-rounded. He's a left-footed defender too, which is always nice to see. Good with the ball at his feet, works hard, marks well, and is pretty good when it comes to heading the ball. And for about 8 million, a player that's age 24, that is not a bad signing at all. He's not necessarily the main man in game for Fiorentina just yet, so you can still get him. He can also operate at left back, potentially as an inverted fullback. He'd do a very good job at, so definitely one to take a look at if you're a high level, say mid-table Premier League side. But for a lower down team, maybe trying to break out of the Championship, Phil Newman could be a great option as a centre back, as a right back, or maybe even, I think best, as an inverted fullback in this right back slot. He's super versatile, can play a bunch of positions, and age 25, he's playing for Hanover in the second tier of Germany. He can be picked up for a really cheap fee and has plenty of attributes to complement him in that defensive role. Really quick as well, which is going to help him in the in-game engine. The jumping reach, the strength, those physical attributes are brilliant. He likes to bring the ball out of defence, which maybe doesn't suit him the best, but he does have 12 dribbling, he does have 10 technique, vision, passing at a decent level too. He's not going to be amazing, but like I say, if you're trying to break out of the Championship, a playoff level team trying to make that cut and hit the Prem, he could be a player that would do a great job for you. And for about 2 million, he is a bargain. One more player to go now. Don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed, but our final pick is going to be Denis Vavro, who plays for Copenhagen in Denmark. He's a Slovakian international in the prime of his years now. Great attributes all around, but again, it's his physicals where he really shines. Strength, jumping reach, pace, combine that with some strong mentals and some really good technicals too, where he's got 15 penalties, 12 passing, 15 tackling, 14 marking, 14 long shots as well. Maybe stick this guy up front and you get tons of goals from him, to be fair. Denis Vavro, a brilliant player, likes to try long range free kicks too. He's going to be a set piece taker from centre back. If that isn't enough to sell you on the player, I don't know what will be. But there you go, there's my picks for some meta bargains in FM24. Let me know your favourite bargain players down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.